Hey, welcome back to this channel. So in this video, we're gonna talk about the ultimate units. So most of you have probably been asking yourself, like, which among these units should I upgrade? Because in the development diagram, if you look at it, to upgrade an ultimate unit, on the first upgrade, it requires you 1 million capital and 100 ultimate development material SSR, which is a limited item. And then also on the second upgrade, you need 3 million capital and 100 of this ultimate development material UR, which as a free-to-play players, I only have 500 so far. I've already upgraded 2 of my ultimate units, so in total I have 500 and then 150 on the UR ultimate development material. So because currently we have 6 units, that means that with 500 ultimate development material, I can only upgrade 5 of them into the first UR upgrade. So I need to choose among that. And like I said, I'm a free-to-play player. As you can see here, I haven't spent a single cent into this game. So those are my materials. You see, so all of you should have the same materials. And also my money, I have currently 3 million, and I've already upgraded my unit to UR, the first UR, twice. That means that I should have around 5 million before this, and including all the money I've spent to upgrade all of my other units from the very beginning of the game. From when I first started playing this game until now, I should have around 6 million or something, or 7 million capital in total. So as if you are also a free-to-play player, or maybe just a standard normal player, you know, like you spend money but not that much, so you should be hovering around the same number. So that means that it's gonna take you a lot of money to upgrade these units. So you cannot just upgrade all of them, you need to choose. So this video gonna help you see, like, analyze and check what is the advantage and disadvantage of each and every one of these units. So in summary, if you think that the video is too long, I'm gonna already tell you, like, the order of ranking and priority on this unit. So the first UR upgrade, in terms of priority, you're gonna go Zeta and Casval. Depending on usage, they can be both rank 1 and 2 on the priority list. And then after that, the Beta Azeru, and then the Gundam Aquarius, and then the Super Hyperion Gundam, and then the Psycho Gundam, okay, on the first UR. And then the second UR, it changes into the Casval Gundam first, and then after that the Super Hyperion and the Psycho Gundam, and then after that the Zeta, the Beta Azeru, and then the Gundam Aquarius. Why? Here's why. This is where the long video starts, okay? So why the Casval Gundam is the most important? Because if you see the stages, like, you want to upgrade units depending on the expert stages of Eternal Road and also the Master League. So those are the two endgame content for both PvE and PvP players. So if you think about it, like, the Casval Gundam is needed for this mission. Tada! The expert #1 UC series with only units with the Xeon tech. There are not many units in the Xeon tech, and especially you need to deal damage to the enemy, where all the enemy in the first stage of expert Eternal Road have eye field. So they block beam range weapon. And half of the units in this game deal beam range weapon. So Casval, being like one of the very few units that deal physical range attack, is very, very strong and very, very useful on that expert Eternal Road #1 stage. So by upgrading him, you can make sure that you will go through the first stage of the expert Eternal Road without any problem and able to clear all the mission. Because this is a Xeon tech. This is also a development unit. It counts as a development unit, even though it is a UR unit after you upgrade him. So And also he is of the UC series, so you can use him there, obviously. Yeah, but yeah, you can clear all the missions and the surviving 10 surviving units. Also, if you can just survive, like it doesn't matter which unit you use, just survive and clear the stage. So yeah, he can clear all the mission for the Expert Eternal Road #1. So he is the most useful. And then next comes the Zeta Gundam. Like if you can clear those stages without using the Casval Gundam, obviously you don't need him anymore. So the next best thing that you can upgrade is the Zeta Gundam, because the Zeta Gundam have the best debuff among all these units. Why? If you go to this website, look at this. We're gonna go to the Soseji and take a look at the debuff. Look at this. We have in this category, like the debuff, can go up to level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 6 being the highest level of debuff, only a few units are able to have them. So for the attack down level 6, we have all the UR units, and then the ultimates units, which is the Psycho Gundam, and then this guy here. So hence why I mentioned in my previous video that this guy is the only SSR unit that has a level 6 debuff. If you watch that video. So looking at the other, look at this, look at the other debuff. There is not a single one that have another SSR unit. All of them are only available for UR units and the ultimate units. So Psycho Gundam having the highest attack down debuff, and the Zeta Gundam having the highest defense down debuff, aside from the UR units, of course. Now, the Hyperion being the only one having the mobility down debuff, and then the beam damage taken up debuff. There is not a single ultimate unit that can do that. So in the future, I'm hoping that we can see an ultimate unit that can do this. And by the time it comes out, definitely aim to upgrade that unit. Because like I always say, half of the units in this game deal beam weapon damage. So having a beam weapons damage taken up debuff, especially at level 6, is a huge advantage for you. Hence why DO in my previous Master League are always the MVP, because he increased my damage by a lot, and also he is able to deal high damage by himself too. Now going into here, the physical damage taken up is owned by the Gundam Aquarius, and then the special weapon damage taken up debuff previously was only owned by the new Gundam. Now the Beta Azieru comes out, and now he is one of the 2 units able to inflict special damage, weapons damage taken up debuff. Hence why one of my viewers was asking me like this, when this unit came out, like whether this unit sucks or not, and I told him, oh my god, he is one of the best that you can ask for from the developer, because just like the beam, what is the beam? This one. Previously, there is no SSR units or ultimate units that are able to replace the new Gundam. Now we have this, okay? And thus, those are all the ultimates you need. And why you want them, aside from the UR? Like you might be saying that, oh, I already have the UR. I don't need to have the ultimate units anymore. Oh. This is why you want the ultimate units, because when you upgrade their skill, look at this. This is a special weapons that is taken up debuff. You don't need the UR weapon upgrade material to get to the highest level. So if you want to upgrade, like for example, I go here and find the new Gundam. Yes, I have a special weapons damage taken up debuff at level 6, but I need to use this UR weapon upgrade material, which is by itself is a very rare material to have. So you don't want to just anyhow use this material, So if you can help it, like it's better to just use a debuff coming from the ultimate unit rather than wasting your weapon upgrade material on your UR units that you might in the future won't be able to use because of the tech limitation of this game. Just use this one. Yeah. So that's why. But in order for you to get that level 6 debuff, you need to upgrade them first to the first UR upgrade. So the best one I've already mentioned is the Zeta Gundam. Why? because the rest, let me go to the beta series. Let's just go to the beta series. Now this guy, look at this. He has this attack. Look at this. 3, 4, 2, 4, 4, 5. And then the debuff is on the second skill, 2-4 range, 3900 special weapons damage taken up by 20%. If you upgrade him to the UR, he still has the same attack. You see, 22, 4, 3900, and then special weapons up debuff by 25%. It increased the level by 1. This one, and also his ability also increased by 1 level. Look at this, it increased stats by attack and defense by 25%, maximum ER by 15%. And if you go back here to the SSR, the ability is 1 level lower. Look at this, it is 10% and 20%. Or when you upgrade it, it goes to 15% and 25%. So those are the things that you get from upgrading your ultimate units. But if you go to the Zeta Gundam, he is the only one that has his attack changed. Look at this, 1, 1, 2, 4, 3, 4. This one, 1, 1, 3, 4, 2, 5. His attack changed when you upgrade him to the first UR upgrade. So look at this, his attack on the SSR, the Psycho Neutralizer, both are Psycho Neutralizer. One is Funnels, one is Jack. The Funnels is the one that reduced defense by 20%. This is the highest debuff that he has. Okay, the Jack one is special weapons damage taken up, but it's only at 10%. This is a level 4 debuff. It's level 3 at SSR. Okay, it's level 4 at the UR. So now if you upgrade him to the first UR, now the Funnels becomes 2-5. So previously Funnels is only 2-4, and hence it's on the second attack, the second skill, 2-4, and then the 3-4 is at the bottom, the Jack. Now it changed place, it swapped places. The Funnels is the one with defense down 25%, it increased by 5%, which is 1 level. And then this one is special weapons damage taken up by 15%, it increased by 1 level. So yeah, the Zeta Gundam actually changed his weapon. So he is the most important for you to upgrade first to the first UR, because now you have your best debuff at 5 range away. Okay, so this is the longest debuff that you can have, because the other ultimate units doesn't have their best debuff at 5 range away. So that's the best part about the Zeta Gundam. And also defense down affects everyone, whether your attack damage is beam, whether you deal damage by special weapon, or whether you deal damage by physical. Defense down will always gonna increase your damage. So it is always gonna be important. So that's why we go to the Zeta Gundam, being the first one that I also upgrade to UR unit. And the Casval Gundam, I need it for the Zeon Tech mission, for the Expert Eternal number 1. So after that, it depends on what you need. Like Beta Aziru have being one of the only 2 units that can increase special weapon damage taken up, but he only has it at 2 to 4 range, while he has another attack at 4 to 5 range. So this is where his special weapons damage taken up debuff is, while he has this skill. So if left into AI, or if you leave the battle on auto, the AI, if they out of range on their enemy, like if they are like 5 range away, he will most likely gonna use this skill, you know, or maybe he will get closer to the enemy and just use this skill. If only if he can reach the 2 to 4 range, then he will use this. But it is still okay being 2 to 4 range, because it is not that difference, like only one square shorter than the Zeta Gundam. So this guy is still okay in terms of trying to give a special weapon damage taken debuff to his enemy at the highest level. But his disadvantage is because he is huge. He is 2 times 2 units. He is a huge unit, and being huge, he is hard to move around. Like if you have your ally unit like scattered around him, he might not be able to move around, because even if one of the square out of the 4 squares that he is occupying being blocked by his ally, then he cannot move there. Okay, so that's the disadvantage of being a huge unit. You know, it's hard for you to move around. So that's the disadvantage of the Beta Zero. So hence why the Zeta Gundam take priority, like he is higher in terms of rank compared to the Beta Zero. And then the Aquarius is the lowest among the support unit. You know, there are only 3 support units, of course. So he is the lowest one because he is worse than the Beta Zero. His biggest debuff is on a range of 1 to 3. This is a physical weapons damage taken up debuff at level 6, but it is 1 to 3 range. So if you leave this to AI, this one also deals higher power. The AI will most likely gonna use this skill instead of the one that increase physical weapons damage taken up debuff by a lot. So this guy is the worst if used by auto or by AI because you can never rely on him applying this. Even when you control him manually, like applying debuff at 3 range away is hard. You know, if you already play some of the PvE stages in this game, it's hard to like apply debuff at only 3 range. Like you want to attack your enemy at least at 4 range away, or best is at 5 range away, because that is where you can safely attack your enemies most of the time while avoiding getting counter attacked by the enemy back. And it is also hard to get close and personal to your enemy without the enemy attacking you when they auto, because the enemy are set to attack the nearest enemy from them. So you want your attacker to be the one getting attacked, and you support defense them, and you counter attack the enemy using your attacker instead of using your support units. I mean, so that is the disadvantage of Gundam Aquarius, like the worst for you to choose from among the ultimate units. But he is not the worst into the first UR upgrade, because when you upgrade your units using the first UR, I think I want to change the order a little bit. Yeah, the first UR upgrade should be the Casval and the Zeta, depending on usage, is rank 1, and then after that the Beta Zero, and then the Super Hyperion, and then the Gundam Aquarius, and then the Psycho Gundam. Yeah, like that. So because if you don't need the physical weapons damage taken up debuff, because there are not many units also that deal physical weapon, like, you know, unless you build a team that deals physical weapon, then yeah, you need him. But then again, like I said, to apply his debuff, you need extra work. The next best thing for you to upgrade is then become the Super Hyperion, because compared to the Psycho Gundam, you know, the Psycho Gundam, actually compared to his original Psycho Gundam, this one, not original, I mean the first Psycho Gundam, he lose his eye field in here, you know. So he doesn't have the damage mitigation, but good thing is that the eye field doesn't work against EX skill. So in front of the UR units, the first Psycho Gundam is actually worse than the Psycho Gundam MK3, you know. Because the Psycho Gundam MK3, in return for not having eye field, he has insane stats. I'm gonna show you later after this, okay? And he's the only ultimate unit that has a map attack, but he is still the worst because his debuff, like I said, if you upgrade the ultimate units to the first UR upgrade, you actually upgrade their debuff by 1 level. So he now has the highest attack down debuff, but it is at 1 and 2 range, which you will never ever be able to reach your enemy at 1 or 2 range, while you also have a movement of 4. Okay, so that's the disadvantage of the Psycho Gundam. Now the Hyperion Gundam, being a tank, he also have 4 movement, which is bad, but the best part about the Hyperion, also because he is the only unit that has the highest weapon, the highest mobility down debuff, it's at his highest range attack. the mobility down. Look at this. So even when left on auto and by AI, he will always gonna use this. It is also his highest power attack. So in any situation, he will always gonna use this skill. Okay. Now, another advantage of the Super Hyperion Gundam is that he has a maximum HP increase here instead of defense, but that is okay. Like if whether it's defense or HP, it's still survivability. But the best part about the Super Hyperion Gundam is this Armure Lumiere level 2. When the enemy attacks with ranged weapons, reduce damage taken by 20%. So Super Hyperion was very popular back in Season 0 Master League, because in Season 0 Master League, everywhere you go, you see the Strike Freedom, Freedom, Justice, SR Freedom, all the Sith units, okay? And everybody thought that this guy counters the Sith units, okay? Yeah, correct, this one. He get an extra attack and defense by 20% when fighting against Mobile Suit Gundam Sith. But what I just noticed is that there is no strike freedom in here. The units that he countered is only freedom, justice, and this one is a build strike Gundam. You know, the new one. So there is no strike freedom because apparently strike freedom is of the Sith destiny and he doesn't counter the Sith destiny. So now he also doesn't counter the force impulse. Be careful, guys. If you have trouble against the force impulse, this one doesn't counter the force impulse. Okay, it counters the SR freedom though, the one that a lot of players SP converted. Now, so where does his strength comes from? Why he was actually really good in Season 0 as a tank? It is because of this. You know, I keep mentioning that the eye field, you know, this one, the one that the Psycho Gundam has, is the best damage mitigation that you can have, because most of the units in this game deal beam damage, and at range some more, like it's rare for them to be able to get close and personal to you, and reduced by 40%, but it doesn't affect EX skill, you know. Now, if you go to the unit here, the EX skill, like for example the Zeta Gundam, we gotta go and check the EX skill. Look at this. It says weapon attribute damage reduction null. So it ignores damage reduction that affects weapon attribute. Now, if you go to the menu and go to the help here, you can check the units and you can check weapon attributes. Damage reduction now, okay? Weapon attributes only consist of the beam, physical, and special. So it is not the melee and the range, okay? It's the type of the weapon attributes is the beam, physical, and special. This is what counts as weapon attributes. So EX weapon possess various attributes such as beam, physical, and special, and abilities that reduce damage from specific weapon attributes do not affect EX weapons. Look at that, okay? So for Super Hyperion Gundam, we're gonna go to the ultimate again. For the Super Hyperion Gundam, this ability is not weapon attribute. It only affects ranged weapons. So it is not ignored by the EX skill. That means that he is able to block EX skill using this ability. This is what makes the Super Hyperion become really strong as a defender unit, because he actually able to reduce EX skill damage by 20%. So that's where the Super Hyperion strength comes from. Okay, but in return for that, he actually have kind of like a low stats for his HP and his defense. So he actually really specialized into countering EX skill. Or not actually EX skill, like basically any ranged weapons. He reduced that damage by 20%, okay? So if against SSR units that actually use beam ranged weapon, obviously the eye field blocks 40% of that damage, while he only blocks 20% of it. But against an EX skill, eye field becomes useless, while Super Hyperion still able to use his ability. So yeah, Super Hyperion, really good defender. Now, the Psycho Gundam is the worst when you are upgrading him to the first UR units, while on the second UR upgrade, the Casval, the Super Hyperion, and the Psycho Gundam is much better compared to the support unit. Why? Because when you upgrade them the second time, look at the development. Like, look at this. We're gonna go to the Casval Gundam. His ability, look at this. It increases attack by 10% and then attack defense by 20% if you fight against this specific tag. And if you upgrade him to the first UR, that ability got upgraded. Look at it. Attack increased by 15%, attack defense by 25%. Now if you upgrade him again, that keeps going up. Look at it. This one stays the same, but this one goes up until 30%. So disadvantage, if you fight against this unit, the Striker Custom, and then the RX-78, and then the GP02, EZ8, and the Sharsaku, you actually deal insane amount of damage to them, okay? But only against them. So how big is the advantage? We're gonna go to the website again. Look at this. I have the Casval Gundam. This is the second UR upgrade of Casval Gundam. This is his stats, okay? Look at this, 11,500 attack, and blah, 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 the other stats, okay? So now if we go to the Sharsaku, at 0 limit break, and also I do want to compare with the Strike Freedom, at 0 limit break, Casval is stronger than UR units. You see, the second upgrade of Casval is stronger than 0 limit break UR units. So if you are a free-to-play players, you can actually have your own UR unit, because if you upgrade this to the first limit break, look at this. The stats become the same. Look at that. Yeah. So Casval Gundam at second UR upgrade is comparable to limit break 1 UR units. So that's the strength of the Casval Gundam. But if you fight against the Mobile Suit Gundam series, he turned on his conditional passive, and this is his stats. Look at that, 14,000 attack and 10,000 defense. So comparing to maximum limit break Strike Freedom, look at this. And even when I turn on the conditional passive, he doesn't have any other conditional passive. Like, look at that. Oh my god, he is stronger than MLB Strike Freedom. Yeah, so when you are able to upgrade him to the second UR upgrade, it's totally worth it. Because now, the only one that actually stronger than him is the Sharsaku, obviously. Like, this is a power creep unit. Look at his attack. Currently, Sharsaku is the strongest attacker in this game because of these stats. Look at that. Yeah. So still, depending on which maximum limit break unit that you are fighting against, Casval can be stronger or Casval can be weaker, you know. But all in all, like, in the standard banner, because these two are like of the power creep and limited banner, you know. So definitely against a standard banner attacker, this guy is stronger if you are able to upgrade him to the second UR upgrade. Okay, so now going into the Psycho Gundam is the same. You know why the Psycho Gundam are very good when upgrading to the second UR upgrade? Because look at this. This is the first UR. This is the second UR. Look at the stat increase. Okay. Now, looking at the comparing to the Justice Gundam, look at this. At 0 limit break Justice Gundam, he has higher stats, just like the Casval Gundam. Okay, if you only upgrade Psycho Gundam to the first UR, then he is comparable to a non-limit break UR defender. Okay, but it is easy to get a non-limit break UR defender. Okay, so what you actually hard to get is a limit break 1 UR defender. And it is comparable to the second UR upgrade. Look at this. Yeah. So by upgrading Psycho Gundam to the second UR upgrade, it is comparable to a limit break 1 UR defender. But not only that, again, if you fight against the specific type, which is in this case for the Psycho Gundam against the Double Z Gundam, then the conditional passive, if it turns on, this is his stats. And it is higher than a maximum limit break justice Gundam. Yeah. So against a specific type of enemies, these ultimate units are actually really, really strong. So, but look at this. Like if I find the Super Hyperion Gundam, where is Super Hyperion? This one. Yeah. If I bring the Super Hyperion Gundam stat, look at this. This is Super Hyperion at the second UR, okay? And without the conditional passive, let's go. Look at this. Yeah, the Super Hyperion has higher HP while the Psycho Gundam has higher defense. But when the conditional passive turn on, look at this. Yep. Because the Super Hyperion have lower defense, it's not as impressive as Psycho Gundam when the conditional passive turn on, because it increases your stats by 30% based on your base defense. So because Super Hyperion increased his HP, he has high HP, it doesn't get increased anymore, so the defense is only like that. So comparing to MLB Justice Gundam, it is actually comparable. Like it's not like Psycho that is obviously stronger, but he covered that up using his skill, the Armure Lumiere, this one. And it also increased to level 3. Look at this. If you go to the standard Super Hyperion Gundam, yeah, look at this. Hey. Oh, it's already increased. Oh yeah, it's already increased. Oh yeah, it increased from the SSR. So previously on the SSR, the Armor Lumiere is only reduced damage taken by 20%. We've already seen just now. I haven't upgraded my Super Hyperion Gundam. Now it reduced damage taken by 30%, which is great. It is a damage mitigation still. Like it's the best way for you to survive, and it blocks EX skills. So even with lower stats than the Psycho Gundam, it is still much more useful than the Psycho Gundam. Okay, so that's why on the second UR upgrade, the attacker and the defender become much more important. But at the first UR upgrade, what you aim for is the increase in the debuff level, that you can have a level 6 debuff without using UR weapon upgrade material. But then again, it goes back to your own choice. Like if you don't need Casval to clear the expert number 1 states, then you can just totally skip this guy. And or if you have like a lot of UR attacker unit, and also at the very least they are at limit break 1 or above, then you can just skip the Casval Gundam. Also again, like all these advantages that I've shown you, the one that conditional passive turn on, like this only affects when fighting against all these units, which you are not. If you are not fighting against those units, then the conditional passive doesn't trigger. I'm not gonna take into account the the support unit, because even if they counter the enemy, the attack and defense increase doesn't really help them, because they don't really deal damage to their enemy. They are not the ones who deal damage to their enemy. Of course, they deal some damage, like increase their damage by a little bit, but still, like their purpose is to put debuff on their enemies. So now it becomes the attacker and the defender unit that have an advantage. And for the Super Hyperion Gundam, you only get advantage against these units: Freedom, Justice, and builds like Gundam. So if you're not fighting against this, then he doesn't get this bonus, so he only get this, but it is still something, And then the Psycho Gundam also, he only get his conditional passive if he is fighting against a Zeta Gundam. Currently, there's only Zeta Gundam in here. Yeah, and also the S Gundam. But the S Gundam, you can just block using the normal Psycho Gundam because it is a beam range weapon. So, yeah, I think it's a beam range weapon, right? I cannot check his skill, but I think it's a beam range weapon. So, yeah. Still, again, this is situational. Like if UR units are much more versatile than them. They are very, very specific. But if you can counter your enemy with a specific type, then they become really, really good. And so just now I've mentioned that if you don't need the Casval Gundam to attack your enemy, then it goes down to your debuffer for the first time you are upgrade them, and then after that, when you decide to go for the second UR upgrade, or even if you just upgrade for the first UR upgrade, like the Super Hyperion, if you actually need him to tank for your team, because the another advantage of the Super Hyperion Gundam is that it is of the one-shot killer tag. So if you have like Lacus as your supporters, then this is gonna be your best defender. Also the same for the Psycho Gundam, I think. No. Psycho Gundam only have tough as nails. This is why I don't use the Psycho Gundam MK3, because it is no longer a Psychomu. Yeah. So it has very few tags. So that's why he is a worse defender than the Super Hyperion Gundam. So yeah, the tag also is still important. You know, whether you can use them or not, this is a Psychomu, I can use this, and it is also a one-shot killer, blah, 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 blah. The tank is always the most important when you're choosing your units. So, oh yeah, and also the Super Hyperion Gundam, I want to give special mention to one tank, specifically the Omni tank here, okay? Because he has the Omni tank, there are two pilots that becomes really good when riding an Omni unit, which is the Shani Andras and the Awel Nider. This guy have the ability, like a very unique ability, which is this one, Boosted Man, and for Awel Nider is the extended. Now this one, when you are having vigor at super high or higher, it increases your defense and reaction by 20%, which is huge. But it only happen when you have figure at super high or higher, which is gonna be really hard for you to get, especially in PvP, because the battle gonna end before you manage to get any tension up, you know. And so that means that you cannot have this at the beginning of the battle, but it is of the Omni tech, this pilot, so it can ride the Super Hyperion Gundam and also the Forbidden Gundam, the best SR unit defender. Now, because of the new update, the Gundam Seed Destiny, we now have the Awel Nider, like the successor of this guy, and this guy is of the extended, but still it has the same effect. But compared to the Shani Andras, this guy now have this MP up ability, MP up skill. So if you manually control him, you are able to get this bonus extended from the very beginning of the battle. So this pilot becomes viable now to actually ride the Super Hyperion Gundam because of these character skills. But in PvP, he will only use this after he kills someone, so still. And again, even after using this ability, like their stats being an SR pilot is low. Look at this, Shani Andras have 459 defense, so hence why coming up Awel Nider having 543 defense is like a huge increase, you know. But compared to the UR pilot, look at this. Jonah Basta have 701 defense. So in the end, like even with all those boosted stats from Awel Nader that he get from the being extended, he will just be comparable as strong as Jonah Basta when riding the Super Hyperion Gundam, you know. But his disadvantage is that he doesn't have double support defense. So yeah, he's gonna be your choice to ride Super Hyperion Gundam only if you don't have any UR pilot. If you don't have any UR defender unit or UR defender pilot, then you can use him, these two units, to ride the Super Hyperion Gundam. Okay, so those are the things that I want to talk about in the Ultimate Unit. So hopefully it helps you in choosing which one do you want to upgrade first. Like also in the PvE stages, like the Casval Gundam can be used in the first stage, the Zeta Gundam also in the first stage, I think. It's the first stage and the protagonist stage. Yeah. The fourth stage, right? The fourth stage. He can be used in the fourth stage. The first stage, fourth stage. This one is of the protagonist too. So first stage, fourth stage, and then this one can be used in the first stage, uh, and the sixth stage, the newer one, the latest one, and then the Super Hyperion can be used in the alternative series, the second stage, the rival, the fifth stage, and then the seed series, the third stage. So the Super Hyperion being able to be used in three stages of the Expert Eternal Road. Now the Gundam Aquarius can be used in the second stage, and that's it. But he's of the Wing series, so you can use him in the Wing series hard stage. I forgot which number is that. And then the Psycho Gundam can be used in the first stage, and that's it. That's why this is the worst for you to upgrade, but he has insane amount of stats. So yeah, he's just gonna be like, you know, your second defender option. Eventually you will always gonna be choosing Super Hyperion Gundam anyway. So yeah, like I always say, if anybody asks me, like, this is the worst for you. These two basically, Gundam Aquarius and the Psycho Gundam, are the worst for you to choose to upgrade as an ultimate unit. Like, okay, one, for the Psycho Gundam being having very few tags, you cannot use him anywhere, and his only good trait is having map attack, and that he has very huge stats. And then the Gundam Aquarius having very short range, being a support unit, doesn't allow him to be useful in any situation. So yeah, just upgrade these four. So yeah, that's all from this video, guys. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.